Designed Events. We are a new event, newish actually. We've been running for about 2 years, maybe 3 years. Within the last 6 months, we've done a rebranding. Before that, I had a different name. And within the past 6 months, we rebranded to Designed Events. Me and my business partner, he's not on today, but yeah, we know she deals with the events management side. I deal with events design and decor side. Today we've got our guest with us today. Her name is Jennifer. She can tell us, I'm going to give her a chance to tell us about herself, and then we can go on into some questions and find out more about what she does. So over to you, Jennifer.
Well, firstly, thank you very much for having me. I'm really honoured to be asked to speak to your lovely group, and just wanted to say hi to everybody. So as you know, I'm Jennifer, and I'm the director and the creative director of Raspberry Bespoke Events. Now, we're an events company, but we also plan large-scale parties. Now, Raspberry was formed around 5 years ago after 25 years of me being in the corporate world, planning and arranging fabulous events around the globe. Yeah. Now, most people say, are you crazy? I gave up in a fabulous lifestyle of travel and working in different countries and doing all kinds of parties from £1 million budgets upwards. But unfortunately, I couldn't do that with small children because I decided to have a family. So hence why I decided that Raspberry Bespoke Events would be born alongside my children. So I left the company, which I worked for, and set up Raspberry 5 years ago, like I say. So we've come from a very small company, and we actually outsource quite a lot of our work so that we can take on more and more big projects so that I'm not on my own in the business. And we have lots of hands that come in on seasonal basis to help us out with event planning and management side of the business with us. So we have a lot of partners and a lot of people that we regularly invite back every year when it becomes wedding season. So yeah, so we basically love huge scale events. So we've been organising, my largest was 1,000 people for 2 weeks. So I do love doing the elaborate events, but I also absolutely adore working on events that are super creative and design-led couples. So couples come to me for quirky, out-the-box kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds amazing, Jennifer. Like, it seems like you've got a ton load of experience. You've been all over the world and everything like that. But tell us, what key skills would you say you would have needed at that time when you were traveling all over, doing small events, doing large events? What would you say the key skills are that you needed?
Sure. Well, basically, you need to have really good organisational skills. I think that's one of the key things to have as an up-and-coming wedding and events planner. I live on spreadsheets and budget spreadsheets galore. Everything I do is put into a spreadsheet, and so we even track where we are on a project on a spreadsheet. So should I be ill in the office or cannot go in, I know that somebody can pick that work up, and if a client rings, know exactly where we're at. So I would say the biggest skill of all is to be completely and utterly organised.
Yeah.
I would say that's really key. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And okay, so now I think we spoke a little bit earlier before everyone came on, and we spoke about how COVID was affecting the events company. Would you say organisation skills is still the #1 main skill that you would need in this time when doing events? Or would you say that we need to develop, maybe because now everything is going a bit more online, so would you say there would be other skills or other benefits that we need to develop as event planners after the COVID season is kind of over?
Yeah, so where we're at right now is organisational skills again, because we're having to reschedule quite a few of our events due to the COVID virus. As we know, we can't have gatherings at the moment, so everything that we have, we've moved already to next year, into next season. The reason we have particularly done that is because a lot of our clients bespoke a lot of the items for their weddings. So if they put a date of September and we can't go ahead in September, then therefore the monetary factor side of that would be a huge cost to the clients. But I would also say being able to work between your clients and your venues, so communication skills are vital right now. We communicate with our brides and all of our suppliers every single week. So we're talking to the bride and groom. We come as a buffer. They can be really upset about something, and then we'll go and talk to the venue or the other suppliers as a buffer, so that the other suppliers are being treated with respect, because it's not their fault either. That we obviously have very upset brides and grooms right now,
exactly,
because of the COVID. So we have to make sure that that's not reflected onto our lovely suppliers, because we want our suppliers, we work with them on a daily basis, so we need to be able to maintain relationships.
Yeah.
So keeping that communication going is really good. For me, I'm taking online styling online in the next few weeks. So we're going to be training up new planners, and we're going to be doing style and design schools with new planners coming through the industry. I've worked with Olympus Cameras a lot before on their shoots. I've worked for Raymond Blanc, the Rosewood in London. I'm working on a Four Seasons Hotel in London at the moment on a brochure. So I'm used to working at levels where I work for clients to produce things for them. So now I'm deciding to take, while it's quiet, to diversify slightly, but still keep the event side there for next year, diversify and then help those that are coming into the industry that might need help to be published in magazines and get their names out there.
Exactly. And I think this will flow on to my next question very, very easily. My next question is, how did you get the motivation to start your own company, and how did you build yourself to get to the height that you're at now? Because you've mentioned so many big organizations that you've worked with, and I think that's one of, for myself, I can say that I really want to go large scale. I want to do bigger events. I want to do events with more corporate, on the more corporate side. How would you advise someone like me to kind of get up and out there? Are we still here? Yeah?
Yes, I completely get you. Now, what happened with me, because I work for a blue chip company, so one of the big 4 companies in the whole world. So I was working for PricewaterhouseCoopers when I first started. So that's a really big, huge accountancy firm that's global. Now, because I always worked at that level. You know them, yeah. That's cool. And because of that, I already worked at a high level as a corporate PA, managing all the directors. So I was used to that kind of level. So I knew exactly what my day was going to be, and it was very stressful and very demanding. So when I left, set up Raspberry, I didn't want to fall back into the trap of having a business and building it up slowly, because I would lose momentum, because I think momentum is everything. So I inspired myself and I put things on a mood board in front of me. So I had a lifestyle that my old company could afford me. Then you go down to zero because you're now having your own company to build. And I had an inspiring mood board to work to.
Okay.
I'm not cut off there, sorry.
That's fine. I think the connection's going a bit fuzzy. So if you just repeat the last bit that you said, because I didn't quite hear you.
Okay. The way that inspired me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah, I can hear you better.
Okay, for me, we had I built a mood board in the office of everything that I inspired and wanted in my life when I built my business, and I just knew I was used to working goals in corporate world.
Yeah.
So I had an office where I had, did I take my family days, did I want to have a nice car, that kind of thing. So I built a whole world to achieve. So it made me get out of bed in the morning and made me go and do my job, even from scratch when I didn't know anybody.
Yeah. Okay, it seems like a really good way to keep momentum and keep you motivated and constantly working towards reaching those goals. I just want to mention, Naomi, I can see your questions. I'm going to ask the questions. So feel free to talk in the chat, ask any questions that you want me to ask Jennifer. And when we finish with the questions that I'm asking her, I can flow with some of those questions and make sure that everyone's questions gets answered today. So you spoke about using mood boards as like a way to inspire you and things like that. So I guess, like, for example, I could make a mood board, and as I was saying, I would like to work with corporate organizations, but how would you advise me to maybe like get the first foot in the door? Because sometimes I think it's really hard to just get that first step in and say, hi, I'm here kind of thing.
Absolutely. I think the best way for anybody to want to get a foot in the door of anywhere, whether it be in the wedding and events industry or corporate or parties, is to go have a look around on LinkedIn. Look for people in that industry that interest you, fascinate you, engage with them, start conversations. give it a few months. These things take time. So basically, I would recommend you building relationships with people in the corporate world, if that's the path that you choose to take.
Okay.
So I would just literally jump on LinkedIn and start communication, start talking.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. What would you say has been the hardest or most challenging thing since you started within the 5 years, even when you were actually working beforehand with the corporate world and all of that? What would you say was the hardest, most challenging thing?
I think the hardest, most challenging thing for me personally, I'm a perfectionist. So I'm sure most people in the events industry are.
Yeah.
I'm never ever satisfied or happy with any event that I've ever done. So
Yeah.
I find that a real challenge. But I think that also motivates. So it's a negative and a positive, which is pretty good. So
Yeah.
for me, I can provide an event and people think, wow, that's amazing. I will always see the one thing that's really annoying me, or I don't like, or could have done slightly differently.
Very
I'll
much
always see that.
yeah.
And that's the thing. I wish I didn't have that demon, but I think we've all got that demon because we're in the events world. So
Yeah.
I can be forgiven for having that one, but it never goes away. Just let me tell you, it never goes away.
I know exactly how that is. So I've got a few girls that work with me, and they can tell the moment I come over, if anything's wonky, I'm just like, oh, I'm trying to ignore it. But I can't ignore it. This is wonky. Can we shake it? So I know exactly how it is. What would you say you enjoyed the most?
My most enjoyable one, I did a beautiful Sikh wedding, and it was really enjoyable. The reason why it was really enjoyable, it was 2 weeks with the same client. So I spent a whole 2 weeks with that client, and then we did about 8 or 9 events for that one client.
Wow.
So in the 2 weeks, because they had house parties, they had all the different families coming around, they had civil, they had their Sikh ceremony, they had the wow party at the end.
Yeah.
And it was an experience because I came part of the family, and it's the biggest experience I have ever had. And having people come in from all over the world, and I think it was the largest, it was over 1,000, yeah. And the smallest, it was 700. So we had 1,000 to 700 for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So it was wow. It was, but I loved every. I mean, it nearly killed me. Don't get me wrong. I was so tired.
Yeah,
but it's that satisfaction at the end where you just think that was amazing. I'll never probably get that experience again.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. I think I agree with that, because it's like, I think I always love seeing the client's expression at the end, how much they loved it. And as you said, you use like a lot of bespoke little personalized items. And that's what I love as well, because I don't know, I just love the little pieces that kind of factors the person's personality or their character into the party. And I think that's what I really, really enjoy. So I totally agree with you on that one. I'm going to go through a few of the questions that people are asking here. So we've got a question from Naomi, and she said, I love to be organized. Do you recommend any online platforms that help with organization?
Okay, so the one that I use, but I only really use it when I've got a large client because you have to pay for it, although it's not expensive, is Aisle Planner. So I don't know if you've used Aisle Planner. It's a US-based platform that is designed for organising a wedding. It helps you with your invites. It's got a mini website in there for your brides and grooms to show their guests where they're going. It's got seating plans, everything in there. It's really good if you have a large wedding. But I'm a bit stickler for actually using spreadsheets, because it means that anyone can go into my computer and pick it up and know where exactly I am. But for the large wedding, I did use Aisle Planner. That was my go-to choice. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that sounds good. I've also heard of a company called Social Tables. I don't know if you've heard of them before.
Yes, I've heard of them too. And there's another one, nine tables, I think it's called something.
Yeah.
You know which one I mean. Nine hats, I think it's called actually. Yeah, there's a few out there. There is a few out there, but Aisle Planner seems to be the one of choice for those who are organising larger events, because it's got no capacity in it for entering guests and things, and the clients can actually upload their guests list and it automates it for you. It's really good.
So when you say like you make your own,
if you have a large guest list like I had and didn't want to type it into Excel, as you can imagine, I make my own spreadsheets. I have my own templates. I made my own templates for my corporate life to exactly, it has the timetable in there and everything. So it has who's doing what job, what time, the times it all out for me. So I have everything on there, but it means that everybody has an iPad on the day of the wedding, so they can go off and they can see what they need to do without me having to physically be next to them to do it. So I trust my team to go off, and so if I'm at the church, I'll trust my team to look at the iPad and see what needs to be done for the reception party, and they'll start working through that list in my absence. So it's great to have one document where you can all join in.
Okay, I've got a question here from Benedicta. It says, your work has been featured in some large publications, Channel 4, wedding mags, etc. How would you recommend a budding professional approach to them? Sorry.
So do you mean as with regards to how you get published, or?
Yeah, so I'm guessing that it's kind of like, how do you kind of approach them? And
okay. A lot of it is to do with your having the experience in the first place, because they are inundated and bombarded with thousands of shoots and images every single day from around the globe. So if you pick a large publication like Luxe, which is the one I like to use, they have so many submissions per day. So you've got to start slowly. So it's one of those things where you've got to start showing what you're made of first to get towards that. So there is steps you need to take to build up to this. I would start off with being published in local magazines first, so you get the experience of that and see what the etiquette of that is. And then when you're ready, so I would say in year 3, 2 or 3, when you're ready to go for the bigger ones, using the correct suppliers, it's all about the suppliers that you use as well. I would then say, then put your submission in. It's very hard to get submitted into these places because, like I say, their inboxes are full of beautiful images, thousands of images every day. So don't be disheartened if you don't, but there is a method of how to get there.
I think that's that for me, it would probably be to get the confidence to actually go out there and approach these companies. How did you even feel confident enough to go ahead and do that?
Well, for me, first of all, I did quite a few small shoots first locally, like I say, and you've just got to have confidence in what you're building and what you're putting out there is liked by many. So you can gauge that from your audience on Instagram. So whether something goes on to explore on social media, for example, if it pushes out onto something like that on a platform, then it's likely that it's going to get picked up domain, then it's going to be looked by a magazine. And I always gauge it by that. Magazines will ask me to submit it to them first before I can even put any images out, because they want to see it before I send it to them. So I'm very lucky. I'm in a privileged position now where my work's known, so I literally send my work, Dropbox it to them, and they'll say yes or no. Sometimes it's not right for them. Even I get dejected, and it's really, the dejection isn't personal. It's about what their issues are looking like, or what their blog needs to look like for that season. If it's the wrong colour, they won't publish it. So there's times I've had brilliant shoots turned down, and then it all end up in Tatler. So who knows?
Ooh. Are we still here, Jen?
Yes, I'm still here. Yeah.
Great. We've got another question here from Jenny. It says, there are so many event planners that have been doing this for a while and have built a large client base. How do you catch up or compete with that?
Okay, the only way to catch up is to start networking like mad, to be honest. It's hard because it's one of those things that comes from experience, and people will only, the higher level suppliers will only start working with you when you've actually gone up through the ranks. So you can't just go from 0 to 100, basically. You can't just zoom past and go straight there. It's impossible, because it's about building relationships. So that's the most important part. So when you build relationships, if you're building them with luxury people, that's when you put the stepping stones in place then, and then you can create magic together. That's the way to do it.
I hear that. With that being said, when we're talking about on social media, on Instagram and things, how would you say we would increase our following? So I know my page right now, I've got a lot of people telling me that they love how it looks, but I still find that the interaction is still not where I would want it to be. So would you say that I should kind of increase those interactive levels and make it more appealing to my audience that I'm trying to reach out to?
Yeah, this is a tricky one right now because Instagram have been taken over by Facebook, as we all know,
Yeah.
and Facebook love it when we pay for ads.
Yeah.
So they are wanting to start paying for promotions, etc. So, for example, I'm very lucky because I've got a large following, and I built that up over take time to build up your following. But I was also lucky that my shoots went big and I got a lot of traction from my shoots. So it's very difficult nowadays, really, to put, even for me, to put a post out there and for it to boom. You know, I don't know how many likes you get per post, but I think our biggest ones get like 300-400 likes a picture if we have a good one, and that's good for even us at nearly 15,000 followers. That's still good, believe it or not. A lot of the times, if you've got a post that's doing well in your group, I would literally do just a Facebook an Instagram 24-hour promotion that costs about £4 or £5, and then niche and target down your audience. So, like, you know, if you want a certain demographic, start putting hashtags in and start demographicing it to that, and send it to them and see if they'll come back and like it, because they're your followers. They'll follow you back. And you can do it that way. So it's quite inexpensive, but I wouldn't do it more than once or twice a month because it can build up to be quite costly. So that's how I would say it. But also Instagram lives, if you go on live and talk about what you're doing and where you are, that brings more. Instagram likes that. So if you do that, then that'll bring more traction to your page as well.
Okay. I've noticed a few people who have joined us in the call, so I'm just going to quickly introduce myself. I'm Corinne Covey-Jackson. I'm a co-founder of Designed Events, a new company founded maybe about 6 months ago. Today I've got Jennifer joining me. You can just introduce yourself quickly again, Jennifer, and then we'll continue on with the question.
Yeah. I'm Jennifer, and I'm the Director and Chief Creator at Raspberry Bespoke Events. It's a wedding and events planner based in Hertfordshire and out of London.
And all this is going to be recorded, and you're going to be able to access this even after the call is over. If we go back into questions, my next question here is, how do you maintain a good work-life balance between being a successful business owner? This is definitely a question that I have. So how are you balancing, like, having numerous amounts of events to do, having a family, because myself, I've got a daughter myself, she's 12 years old, and she always wants to come to the events with me because she's just like, I want to come. So how do you balance all of that?
Yeah, I've got 2 children too, so I feel what you're all going through. So yeah, so for me, I do shifts with my husband, to be honest. My husband works 9 to 5. He's a scientist, so he goes and works and does things in the science world. I don't know what he does, but there you go. And for me, I do all my admin during the day, and then I literally speak to my clients in the evening. So my life balance is that I have to sort of have most of the morning off. So I have the morning to myself.
Okay.
And from lunchtime, I start picking up the admin and speak to clients right up to 8-9 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
Actually, it works for clients because clients are generally working anyway. So as you can imagine, your clients, they've probably been a day at work, and then they might want to pick up and talk to you about their wedding at 7:30 after dinner. So that really works for me. And then we play a bit of a tag team. So then if I'm off to an event, then he'll either have the day off work or work from home. And then I'll go off to the event for the weekend, or, you know, he works from home with the children, or I don't go to Friday night, and we do the wedding for the clients on the Saturday, and I come back on the Sunday. So we've always managed to work it well so far, but we've had to draft grandparents in sometimes because it is tough. As you know, it's unsociable hours, and it's also when your client wants their wedding, that's when they're having a wedding. So we have to adapt to this. But I also make sure after a wedding, always make sure of this. It's one thing I learned very early and very quick is make sure you take 2 days off afterwards. After an event, take 2 days off, literally holiday yourself 2 days after, because you crash. The adrenaline's going around, especially if you've had a big wedding. The adrenaline's buzzing, you feel amazing, and all of a sudden you're the sore throat, or you get a cough, or you don't feel great.
Yeah.
And so I always book the off, just literally, I mean, not off work, but literally off doing anything other than just my emails. That's it. But that's my advice, definitely.
I totally agree with that, because I can say that after an event, I could probably sleep for a whole week if I allow myself to. That's how run down and how tired I get. And the soles of my feet are always just really aching. So I completely hear you on that one. Our next question.
Yeah,
Woo, I couldn't hear what you were saying. We're going in and out, in and out.
That was nothing. Come.
Hello?
Go on, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Would you recommend an event designer to do a shoot? How to go about it and how many? So maybe do a shoot for like promotion sites, how to go about it and how many do you recommend them doing?
If you are a planner and you don't like doing event design, then yes, I would recommend you have a stylist to do the shoot, because that's the way that you're going to have your shoot published, because obviously it's got to be stylized. Stylized is the big thing for magazines.
Yeah.
You can go out there and you can go into groups. There are lots of new people in the industry that are only a year old that are learning to style, or have been stylists and gone solo, who will be happy to help you out if they're at the beginning of their journey as well. So they'd be more than happy to assist you on that. So if you do a collaborative shoot, or any people in my shoots other than models and sometimes furniture, and that's been really it, really. And we don't really pay for shoots as such.
Okay, so you said you spoke a bit about collaborating. Are you, as an event planner, are you open to collaborations? What would you look at in another company or another organization to be able to do a collab with them? What are the sort of things you'd look for?
Sure. I'm always open to collaboration. I think collaboration is king. I really think it's good for networking and good for your relationships going forward for brides and grooms as well. So you can actually get an insight. So when you're working on a real client, you've already got the rapport, and you know exactly what they're used to or what their likes and dislikes are. So you know how well you work together. Now, for me, when I'm looking at doing a shoot, I always look at somebody that's about 2 levels above me to shoot with, always. So I won't look at people below me, because there's no point, because my brand is going this way. I've got to go this way with your brand. So always make sure you're aiming upwards with your brand. So, I mean, some little elements of the shoot are fine. You can use whoever you like for that. But there's some elements, for example, flowers and cakes, where you need to be 2 steps ahead with that, because you want to be working with their kind of brides. They've already got a name for themselves. You need to work with that person so that you can put yourself in that limelight. So you've got to always aim above. And that's always going to be key for me. I'm now working with people across Europe and Paris and things like that, because I need to get my brand not just UK, but I need to be now known in France, Italy. So I'm working with people in France and Italy at the moment. Subconsciously, I said to myself, I know we're in the UK, I need to take it to big brands in France, big brands in Italy. So now I've got relationships with big hotels, very famous hotels in Italy, that I'm now looking to work with and do shoots and brand work with, so that I can take my brand further, because your brand can always go further. Always.
Great. We've got one more question in here, and then I think I'll ask one more question myself, and then we can round up. It says, how do you think social media has impacted your business? So we've got a lot of questions on social media right now. So
yeah, social media for me has been king, because it can reach so many people, because you can target down, you can focus down. I can even just target the US if I want to. If I have something relevant to brides in the US, if I have an offer that I want to send to the US brides but not the UK brides, I can just literally hone it down. All the hashtags will be relevant to a US bride. So I do this when I'm going to do work in Italy. I'll say the American market love Italy. So I'll literally, this is Villa Bono, and I'm going to work at Villa Bono in Italy, and here's the American bride who loves that villa, and I will tag them. And that's how I do it. And that's how my social media, because I've literally changed my tags for every single post. So always make sure you change your tags for every single, do not use the same tags on every single post.
Okay.
Always make it relevant, and always think about who you want to see this picture, because your followers will see it. They will see it. That's a given. But what you want is more followers, and what you want is more relevant followers that are coming in, or brides to be that are looking at your work. And if you want a job in Italy, like for me, I'm focusing on Italy this year, so I've got quite a few things happening in Italy, and I've got a particular venue I want to work with, who I'm interviewing shortly, and therefore I will be putting that on my Instagram, and then I'll be tagging in American brides, because I know it's their thing, so I really want to work there, and I know that there's brides out there that want to go there too. So it's about matching up in your head, who are you talking to, always.
Yeah, so you can say it's had a massive, I think social media is like it's the god to the events industry, about getting yourself out there and really reaching all over the world. I think it's definitely
absolutely it's the quickest way to reach globally, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, my final question for you today is, what advice would you give a young student or somebody trying to enter the events industry? What would be the advice that you would give to them to thrive in the industry?
Yeah. Okay. If they're starting out as a young student, not in the industry yet, I would say try and run a job alongside going into the industry, because it takes quite a while to become established.
Okay.
So for me, I was I came from corporate, but I know others that have come into the industry then full trust industry. So people have to get to know you, get to like you and trust you, and then the work starts coming. So I would suggest that if you're doing that slowly, maybe do it with a part-time job, run it alongside something, because it is doable to do that. And then at least you have an income coming in to spend on your business and yourself in the meantime.
Yeah.
And then you can always, as soon as the work comes in, you can always hand your notice in and leave your job then. But I would definitely say always run it alongside something else to give you that little bit of income while you're still finding your feet.
Okay, well, when you said that, a question came to my head. I know I said that was the last question, but something just came to my head. Like starting up, I think we have a lot of issues with kind of under budgeting. So expecting that we were going to spend X amount, but spending a bit over. So maybe cutting down on how much profit we would have expected to make, or any returns that we would have expected to make. And I think that's through I think one of our major issues are things like transportation, and obviously like getting stuff from different vendors. How would you say it would be the best way to really budget and make sure you're making the best profit or making the best returns that you're meant to be making?
Okay, so that's why we have a discovery call in our business when we first talk to clients. So our first initial meeting's free with our clients, and we sit them down and we have what we call a discovery call, and we learn all about them. So not only are you learning about how much money they've got to spend, you're learning about their expectations, if they're going to be high maintenance, if they're going to be hands-on, hands-off, that kind of thing. So if you have a client, for example, that's going to literally go, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to give everything to you and I want you to sort it for you. Those are going to be the easier clients, because those are the kind of clients that are just going to, you show them a big body, like it, you get on with it and you organise it. Yeah. The clients that are going to be more tricky and they're going to be more time consuming are the ones that say change their minds a lot, they're not quite sure what they want.
Yeah.
And need a lot of hand-holding and guidance, which is absolutely fine, but you must make sure that if you know you're going to be on the telephone a lot, doing lots of messaging for them and etc. So I gauge them on that meeting. But we have a starting from fee. So, for example, in our company, we don't do a wedding for under £6,000 for a full plan. That's our figure. We say we'll not do a wedding for anything less than 6,000. And the reason we do that is because we know even if you have 30, 40 people and they're really high maintenance, you still have to hire staff and everything out of that 6,000. And we don't want to be out of pocket. After that 6,000, for example, we then, depending on how big the wedding is, how many people are going to be there, so we ask how many guests are going, we can gauge, say it's 200, I want about 4 or 5 staff with me, and I start writing down how much I want to pay my staff per day, and how many days I need them. Work out your staff costs first, and then add on what you're really happy to take on top of that. And that's why you'll suddenly find that when you've got a big wedding, it starts being thousands. Because if you have staff, 5 staff for 2 or 3 days at like £200 a day stay, you're already talking a few thousand there. So your clients you've got to explain that away to the clients. Clients are fine as long as you lay it out and write down why it's costing this. Break it down for them, and then make sure you're happy that this is what it's going to cost you all this admin and running around, factoring how many things you think you're going to need, and then add your salary on the top.
Yeah.
So I always added salary for myself, like a 1,500, 2,000, whatever it is you want as a salary. Add it on the top so you know you'll comfortably get that. And if you get any more, that's brilliant. That's a bonus. You won't be going out of pocket. That's the best way to do it. So you don't want to be going out of pocket because then it just makes you feel miserable. Yeah. So, you know, you want to feel like you've really done a good job and you've actually earned some money because it's a business, let's be honest. We can't have you all out of pocket.
Exactly. And one last question. If there was any advice that you would give to your younger self, what would it be?
Just go with it. Just go for it and just go with it. You know, literally, if you're, I mean, for me, my life's taking different turns and paths and things. Like I'm going to teaching now and I'm doing private dining and all kinds of things now. And I didn't think, I just always thought I was going to be doing weddings, but actually some of these things are really lucrative. Just go with whatever's happening. Don't be worried about it, because you can still do weddings and things, but these are the little things I'm now diversing off to, the ones that are going to be paying me in such a crisis like COVID.
Yeah.
So weddings are not happening right now. So obviously private dining at home in the garden is going to start happening. Brilliant. And these are all ways of making income when it's a crisis. Yeah, and these are the things that pay for all those horrible things that were like social media posts and all the rest, and SEO and blogs and everything. This is the money that pays for all that to keep your business going in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay, it's been lovely, lovely, lovely speaking to you, Jennifer. I don't know, just for the viewers that are watching or anything like that, can you share us with your socials, things that we can follow you on? And then I'll share my socials and then we can kind of like end the call for tonight.
Yeah, sure. So we're over on Raspberry Bespoke Events, but I've also just set up the Styling Guru, which is where my courses are going to be. They're not ready yet, but the Styling Guru is where my courses are, and Raspberry Bespoke Events is where my wedding business is. So that's where I am if anybody wants to look me out. And I'm always happy if people drop me any questions. I answer questions for brides and all sorts of things through my messenger on my Instagram. So I manage my own Instagram. So I'm the one responsible for all my Instagram right now. So if anybody's got any questions, drop me something in there and I'm quite happy to pick it up.
Right, great. I'm thanking you again, Jennifer. It's been so insightful. Everything you shared has been amazing. Very, very, very helpful information. Please, guys, if you're on tonight, please also follow myself on Instagram. So my personal Instagram is Corinne Kobe Jackson, and my business page is designed.events. So it's designed with an ED at the end, .events. Follow us on all social medias and keep your eyes out for Events 101. We have got some major people coming on. So please do keep your eyes out for the events. And yeah, thank you very much, Jennifer. And hopefully we'll see everyone on again. And feel free, if you feel to contact me or contact Jennifer after the show, please feel free to do so.